Starting your own company can be very daunting, particularly if it's your first company. Well, I'm going to show you in this video all the key things you need to think about and actually to make that business a reality. Hi there, my name is Jennifer and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be taking you through step by step all the key areas you need to think about in order to set up your business. If you've never done it before, it truly is straightforward once you understand a couple of key components. I am a business owner myself. I'm also an investor, so I have been through this exact process myself. I've learned a few things over the way that I want to share with you, so stay all the way to the end. Now, I've had companies on my own since my early 20s. I've also started companies with no debt involved, no loans. I've also made them over 6 figures in profitable income, and also being that I was pretty much the only person running those companies. So it is totally possible to do all this, to navigate everything legally so that you can start that business, that dream that you have. So what is the main difference between a limited company and a sole trader? This is the first major decision you need to make for your business idea. A sole trader is exactly that. You intend to run the company on your own and probably not employ or contract anything else. That is very differently run and managed with taxes. We're going to cover how you start a limited company, which is assuming it's more than yourself you're employing eventually, and also is going to grow in size over time. Now, with a limited company, the director and the directorship are responsible for that company completely. That means if there's any issues, any problems, if you break any laws, then the directors are legally responsible, and you can get fines or even criminal charges against you if you do things wrong. So it's really important that before you start, you understand you are legally responsible for this company as the director. Now, the company remains responsible for any debts, however. So even though you're a director or a shareholder, it does not affect your responsibility to pay back any liabilities if the business doesn't make it. So the company is essentially owned by shareholders when you're limited. That means that when you're the director of a company, you oversee the strategic aspects, but you report in to the shareholders. Now, when deciding to start a limited company, you've obviously got that business idea that you want to start helping people, but you're very clear there is legal requirements as well. You have to be paying corporation tax, VAT if you earn over a certain amount, and you also have to figure out how you're going to spend the profits. Those commitments require paperwork, corporation accounts, and keeping books as accurately as possible. You also need to pay national insurance contributions for any employers that you have, including yourself if you're the director or a shareholder. So now that you've decided you want to start a company, what do you need to do? Well, the first thing is you need to decide on a unique name. The great thing is Company House, which is where all the companies are registered with in the UK. They actually have a free tool that you can search company names. Now, I'm a Christian, so what I did when I was starting my businesses was I actually went in prayer and pondered what was the right name for the company I was starting. And with that name, I went and searched on Company House to make sure was there anyone else with something similar. If there wasn't, then that's a great place to start. Another thing to keep in mind is you do not want things that are similar in name to well-known brands or other companies. There is copyright laws, trademark laws. We've also got integrity things as well to keep in mind. We also don't want to be associated with any other companies if we can avoid it. So go on Company House, also go on Google and check out, is the name you're thinking of calling your company, is it used by someone else? If someone else is on Google or Company House with that name, I would avoid it completely. You also need to have a registered address when you set up a company, and that basically means you either choose your own home location, you can also have an accountant's address if you have an accountant, or you can have even private mailboxes. Now, a lot of services that allow you to set up companies actually allow that option of having a private mailbox with them. I would suggest it's a great idea not having your home address on any public websites, because Company House will list your full address and your details of your directorship as well. The next thing you would need to know is who are the directors of your company. So if you're the person starting it, it's natural that you will probably be the director or have other directors with you. But whoever makes up that directorship is in charge of the strategy and the decisions with the company. Now, keep in mind that also means legally they can do things to your company. They can change the name, they can change the formation, change how dividends are paid, anything at all. So whoever you're taking in that directorship is very important for the leadership of your company and the direction you want it to take. Then you work out your shareholder formation. Now, typically you can start a company with one director and one shareholder yourself. That is absolutely possible. But perhaps you want to employ and have shareholders from other people in your family or close friends. That's also a possibility when you set up a company. What I will say, a little bit of a red flag, anyone who is a shareholder, you have a legal obligation to pay dividends. If you take dividends, you need to pay those people as well. If it ends up being that that shareholder does not want to be part of the company for any reason, you would need to buy them out, usually for a certain amount based on the valuation of the company at that time. So this isn't just the same as having our friends and family join in with us. This is a legal requirement to support them with the company, and they also have a say in how you could be running the company or how the company could be seen as being run. So once you know your directors and your shareholders, then we decide how many shares. Generally, people have 1, even 10 shares. If you have yourself and multiple other people as shareholders and directors, then you need to have shares accordingly, and you also allocate a starting price for those shares. Now you can do it starting at even £1, whatever price you want at all. The final bit of information you'll need to register a company is the category of your work. So these are generally, you need to give a couple of ways that you're actually servicing people with your company. And there's extensive lists on government websites that you pick the relevant code for your company. What is the main areas that you're going to serve people with? You pick the right code at this time that feels right for how you're starting your business. The main thing is whatever you start your business with can be changed over time. So do not believe you're locked in with your decisions. You can actually change how you function as a company, the name of the company, the people you have as shareholders, and a directorship as well. Everything can be managed as long as it is registered officially with the government websites. So now that you've got your name and your structure and who you want to involve in your company, registering your company is really straightforward. There's usually a fee at the moment for that with the government websites, but you do it and it roughly takes about half an hour for that process to do all the paperwork. The next thing you want to decide though is if you're using a company formation service. These are great. They usually help you do the mailbox, they do the setting up of the company with Company House and help you track anything important as well, such as ID checks or anything required to make sure that your company is set up officially on the government website. So now that you're officially registered as a company, what do you do then? Well, the next key thing is you need to have a business bank account. For any limited company, it cannot be in your private money account. And there's lots of banks out there that will do that for you, either for free or for a small charge. The next thing you will absolutely need is accounting software or some way to keep track of your accounts. Every year you have to submit corporation tax records and pay corporation tax. And so it's really important from the minute that you start that you have some form of accounting software that allows you to take receipts and put anything through as expenses for the business, and also allow you to get paid. People can pay into your business account as well. Now, the books you keep for your company must be completely accurate and also have great integrity. You must ensure that everything you're putting through your business is for your business. Keep a receipt and keep it roughly for 7 years, because the HMRC can backdate and want to do tax return checks even after you've submitted your tax return. Now, particularly if you're brand new to running a business, it is really important to get the right support around you. I really recommend, if you're starting a limited company, try not to do your tax or your VAT or these important government processes by yourself. You really need to think about having an accountant. Now, lots of company formation services will actually help you get an accountant. They'll help you get accounting software as well, and even a bank account. So have a look online which ones are great, and you could actually end up getting these things really quickly that mean legally you're absolutely making sure everything is above board, you're paying your tax and recording it correctly. So let's break down some of the tax things you have to be aware of, because we're going to make lots of money, I know, with this business idea, but we have to make sure we're paying accordingly to the government. You have to pay corporation tax every single year without fail, and you must submit your records for those every year. I recommend having an accountant to do this, to be honest, particularly if you don't have an accountancy degree or qualification. The next thing you have to be aware of, once you actually make over £90,000 of income, you have to register for VAT, so paying that value added tax on what you are actually making, and even claim it back. So there's a little way that you can make some money back into your company. The next thing you have to do, if you're planning on taking a wage and dividends, is you individually as a director will need to do a self-assessment. So that means, again, any wages and income you take from the company, you have to document, keep your receipts and everything, so you can do that return once a year as well. And the last thing to keep in mind is if you're paying yourself or other people to be employed by the company, there is national insurance contributions. So whenever you're making income, it's not purely just a wage. You have to think about corporation tax, any VAT, also if there's any national insurance contributions for the people that you're paying as well. Now this video, I must say, is not tax advice. I'm not here to give you those recommendations, and that's why I really say speak to an accountant and get an accountant if you're thinking of starting your own business, so that everything is completely above board and you're making sure legally you're paying everything you're meant to, because if you don't, they will make sure you are either taken to court or fined accordingly. So what are some of the common mistakes that I can warn you about? Well, the first one is using your own personal account rather than having a business bank account. This is definitely something you cannot do, because when you have business money going into your personal account, first of all, your customers can see that you're doing that. It's not recommended that they know anything personal about you, but also there's a high chance you're going to get muddled up with what money is for the business and what money is actually for your own spending. We cannot risk that you're using business money that's meant for corporation tax or anything else. Another major thing to be careful of is you must save for your tax, your VAT, and also national insurance contributions. It is really important that you don't assume the value you see in your bank account is absolutely everything that you can spend. A lot of business bank accounts even will allow you to have separate savings pots. Put it aside every time you're making money or at the end of the month. Another common mistake to avoid is ignoring deadlines that are important to your business. You cannot simply forget that corporation tax is due or VAT returns are due or even your self-assessment. These are deadlines for a reason, and there are fines and serious consequences if you miss them. Another major mistake to avoid is choosing the wrong structure for your company. I've already hinted at it's really important you need to be sure the directors and the shareholders are the people you want around you. Take that time to sit down, and as a Christian myself, I know that I would go to God in prayer and just actually figure out what's the right people who need to be supporting your business for the leadership point of view. Doesn't matter about who you're employing, but what is the starter decision that you need to make that's right for your future ahead. Another mistake to avoid is not really understanding the role of a director. You're required to have that vision and direction for your company. You're the person who is basically calling everything that's going to happen through that company. So really understand and make sure you're ready to have your limited company and start that business idea. So I truly believe you can start your own company in a matter of days once you've gone through all these steps. It's really important though, if you've got that business idea, get the right structure around you. Having a limited company opens up so much more in terms of how you pay yourself and also the things that you can do in your company, how you put through expenses, what people you can involve in your company idea. I know you're going to create something really, truly fantastic. And I truly believe if you've got a vision to help other people and solve a problem, then that's when God can really make a difference through you and through your company. So I hope this video has been really useful for you. I'm going to leave links down below that are the products that I recommend in this area, and also some of my suggestions of things that might help you, some tools and strategies as well. I do hope this video helps you if you're brand new. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do check out my other content on this channel. Why not give this video a like and subscribe? It helps somebody else find it in the algorithm as well. And I'd love to hear in the comments if you're using this video to actually start your first company ahead. I know it's going to be fantastic. And thank you so much for watching today. I'll speak to you very soon.